I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach
it. Is it on? It's on? It's totally on right now?
It's on right now.
It's on from Wisconsin? Alright, dudes, dudettes, check it out. We're gonna do a little kind of like an first we're gonna learn how to speak English, and then we're gonna do like kind of an update episode because I did want to share something with you guys. She's doing so much better. Oh my goodness. Come here, mama. Come on. Come here. Come here. Come on. You want to pick at the beard too? He's in the way. Here, you could groom him. There you go. You groom him. He grooms me. Alright, so the female, Juliet, is doing 1,000 times better. It seems like she's popped out of her depression. You could see she's got a little belly on her now. You got a fat little belly there. She says, don't call me fat. But she's got some chunk, and I like to see that. She's got some chunk, she's gaining some weight, she's doing better. We came over here to do some stuff with the guys, help out around here, and then obviously to clean up this enclosure. We weren't going to originally film, but Brian and I have been talking about something. Brian's the camera guy, obviously, if you guys haven't caught on already. He's a good friend of mine. But we were talking about something that kind of gave us the idea to do this video, along with giving you the update to let you know that these guys are doing just fine, and to let everybody know we want these guys moved as quickly as possible. Like I said, it's stressful for me, and gas prices are like $175 a gallon right now, so it's making it pretty fucking miserable as things go, just to drive as far as I have to drive to take care of these guys so often during the week. But it's 100% worth it, and right now, between the state and then dealing with property stuff and all that good stuff, it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's nothing I haven't been through before, and as long as these guys are safe, I'm good. I was only stressed about her. Are you going to peek in the back? Let me see. I was only stressed about her because she was acting a little off, and then she had lost so much weight because she lost the baby when she came over here because of the situation and the stress. So she's made it through all that. She's chunky, she's getting some weight, she's doing a lot better. Come on, mama. I don't really want you over here. So there's your update on the monkeys, but I want to talk to you guys about something. So I got some emails and some messages about another channel on YouTube. I'm not going to say what the channel is. I'm not here to poke at people in any way, shape, or form. But Brian and I thought it was kind of important because him and I were talking back and forth about the structure of monkeys, the way the primates roll out, and the differences in all these primates across the board, because you got everything from your common marmoset, which is these little tiny monkeys, all the way up to your great apes like the gorillas and things like that. They're going to be these huge, gigantic beasts of animals, and at the same time, the intelligence level on all these animals is so great, and the structure within their own ranks is much different than what we're trying to do. So I got reached out to. I got a couple of messages on these people and their monkeys. And these people, what they're trying to do is they're trying to do research actively after they've already purchased this monkey, which is already working in the opposite direction. What you want is you want to be fully versed in these monkeys if you were ever going to decide to get something like this to own for yourself. And I'm not going to call it a pet because it's not a pet, but I'm also not going to tell you not to get what I would get myself. The only difference between me and anybody else is that I extensively worked with primates and all kinds of other animals before I ever owned anything for myself. So I worked side by side with some of the best in the business to be able to learn the things that I learned before I got myself into anything where I was running any situations, running any parks, or raising any animals, you know, into adulthood. Because raising a baby monkey, that's extremely easy. It's when they hit the sexual maturity and when they get older and they start doing these things that people don't understand, and then they respond to it with negative reinforcement. So they're constantly trying to battle. And this channel in specific, the problem is this: they have monkeys similar to what I have. I'm not going to say what kind of monkey because somebody will figure it out and then I'll get backlash for talking about this, but people need to hear this is extremely serious. Like, these aren't a joke. Romeo could kill me if he wanted to, and there'd be nothing that I could do about it. I could fight back against it all I want, but he's got big old teeth, and if he hit me in the neck, there's a good chance that he could kill me if he wanted to, right, bud? Right? That's an eyeball. Thank you very much. So the whole thing for me was to understand these animals as a species before I ever got into it, to be able to own these things in any way, shape, or form. And the biggest thing is, number one, making sure that we have pairs and multiples, like I've talked about 100 times, because you never want a monkey in solitary confinement, because it would be like you sitting in a room by yourself 24 hours a day with no attention until your owner gets home and then feeds you a little bit, plays with you for 30 minutes and sends you out. So if you're in a situation where you can't spend the time, mama, come here. If you're in a situation where you can't spend the adequate amount of time and you don't have pairs or multiples, then you're gonna be screwed in the end, because all you're gonna do is torture that monkey and they're gonna have neurological issues. I'm gonna stand up if that's okay with camera guy over here. So you're gonna have multiple issues because you're gonna create basically the same scenarios of somebody in prison being locked away for 17 years in solitary confinement. Upstairs is gonna be a little bit wackadoo, and it's the same thing with these guys. So you always want to make sure you have pairs and multiples. That's number one. But the problem that these people are having with their monkeys is this: is they got this male monkey, and it's okay. Like some people dress their monkey. I put diapers on my monkeys when they're at home just because I don't feel like getting shit and piss on, or in my bed or anything else, and I want to let them run around. But we also let them breathe from that, because it's not good for them to have clothes on all the time. They don't wear fucking clothes in the wild. So it's cute, it's cuddly. You could do it. I'm not against it. You could dress your monkeys. I don't dress mine, but the diaper we do. But we let them breathe too, because it's too much with all the fur and stuff. They're going to get chafage, they're going to get skin problems, all kinds of stuff can come from that. So to dress your monkeys 24/7, probably not a good idea. But what these guys did was they got a monkey, and it's a male, and it's getting older, and it's about 2 years old. What they don't know is that it's about to go through sexual maturity. And when that happens, some real shit's gonna go on. And nothing's happened yet, but they're starting to have problems. Why? Because they decided to get a female. And the female's, I think, like 6 months old or something like that. It's a younger female. And what they think they're seeing versus what is actually happening is two different things. And I watched some of their episode where they were explaining that they wanted to be transparent, which was awesome. That's great if you want to be transparent. But at the same time, I heard them go back and forth. Well, I read this on this and it said to do this, and then I read this and then it said this. So they were reading care sheets and captive information from people doing similar things like they're doing with their monkeys, and then they're going and reading how the monkeys act in the wild, which is realistically more the side that you want to be on, because again, the internet, if you pop a question in, Google's not going to answer your question. It's just going to attach you with 80 other thousand people that have that same question or have that same thought process. So it's not going to guide you into correct information. It's going to guide you into the information that you want to see. And then they're trying to put these pieces together, wrapping in this person saying this, and this guy said this, and then I read that in the wild they do this, and then it's a matriarchal society, which it wasn't. Like this particular species, the males are running the roost, not the females, and oftentimes with some primate species, especially lemurs, it's a matriarchal society. With these guys, he's the ruler, not her, not in any way, shape, or form. Same with their monkeys, and they're saying that the hierarchy comes from the female, and that's why their baby female was challenging the male. Everything they were reading into was wrong. Everything that they read was wrong. And then I heard a name, I'm not going to say his, I am going to say his name. It's Michael Paggi. Michael Paggi is a douche canoe. He has no business doing anything with any animals, and I'm not afraid to say it, and I don't care if he comes after me, and I don't care if he says anything, because quite frankly, he just got somebody's head ripped off by his very sick, underweight, underfed, and not taken care of, very neglected black leopard that he's had for far too long. And I'm not sure why nothing has been done about it, but he did get somebody scalped. And I think the guy was talking about him talking to this guy, Michael, asking for information on how to raise these monkeys, and Michael doesn't know his asshole from his elbow because he has no business touching any animal ever. And I've worked with him personally. He's a terrible dude, and I don't care what anybody has to say about it. He's a douche canoe. I said it. There you go. I don't give a shit. So at the end of the day, they had these monkeys, and they're trying to figure out what the monkeys do in their own scenario, in their own situation. They're trying to work out this monkey situation, and they're trying to figure it out, and they're reading too many things, and they're reading too far into the behaviors that they're seeing, and then they're talking to people that don't know what's going on. Well, they got their monkeys dressed up, and the first thing that I heard them say that bothered me was that somebody told them that if the monkeys are having arguments, if they're going back and forth, if it feels like an unsafe situation, take a favorable treat. Take something that both of them are going to want, offer it, and the monkey that's in the lesser side of things should back down and give the one that is in the hierarchy, the man of the hour, he's going to be able to take that treat, and she's going to retreat and not want that. Let me fucking tell you a story. If I bring a fucking banana in here and I got one banana and I stand in between these two and I hold the banana in here, they're going to beat the fucking shit out of each other to try and get to that banana. They don't give a flying fuck. They just want the banana, and I only brought one. So all I'm doing is reinforcing the tension between the two. So instead of treating these things as like, okay, you're you, now we're trying to put something, how can I explain this without getting in trouble for my terribly crude jokes? I was gonna go the hooker status. I can't go the hooker status. So it would be like putting, okay, I can't go that route either. Damn it, every joke that I have is just not gonna work for this one. It would be like putting two monkeys together and giving them one fucking treat and go and have at it. Figure it out amongst yourselves. That's not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. There is a hierarchy, there is a social structure, but the biggest part is learning the social structure, and the biggest thing for these animals is outdoors. You cannot live with these monkeys in your house 24/7. I don't care what anybody says. So they got a 2-year-old monkey, much like Romeo, and eventually he's going to hit sexual maturity, and he's going to destroy shit in the house, and he's going to destroy somebody, and he might hurt one of the owners. And I don't know if they pulled their teeth out. I didn't get that far and all that stuff because I don't like watching things like this, but I do hope they get the proper help, and I hope they turn their things around, because these monkeys can be extremely dangerous, but what worries me more is the monkeys themselves. So what they did was somebody had them tied. You need to cut this for a second?
Yeah.
Well, fucking go ahead, bud.
What?
My camera guy and his shoulders. He's got his shoulders and his heavy camera. That's why I use my iPhone the whole time.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
what's the quality on that?
It's shit. Everybody told me it was garbage. They said our videos are much better. By the way, everybody's saying thank you guys very much. Let me take a moment here to thank everybody out there. And then in a few episodes, we're going to start naming our Patreons, because we got the Patreon up. So let me mention that while we took the break or whatever. Go to the Patreon. We got the link in the description, all that good stuff. So anyway, back to the monkeys here. I fear for the monkeys and the situation, because what they're doing is like they're trying to treat these monkeys as if they're people. So they want them like they're children. So they have the little toddler thing set up, like the actual toddler chair. And what they do is they got these monkeys dressed, and they got their little toddler chair as if my 1-year-old child was eating dinner with us, and they have the monkeys in the chair, and they strap them to it so they can't go anywhere. So they got about this much lead, and they tie them to the back of the chair. And over again, they're reinforcing their own bad behavior, saying, I know this seems mean, but it has to be done. I know this seems mean, but it has to be done. False. You don't ever have to do anything to any animal to put them at a disadvantage to get what you want. I have a perfectly good relationship with my homie, and if he wanted to, he could kill me. And you can see every time I come in here, he's on my shoulder. She's a little bit more standoffish, but guess what? It's because she is the female, he's the male. Now she will come over, but she watches him because he's the ruler of the roost. And quite frankly, she doesn't like being banged a whole lot, and that's all he wants to do, so she likes her space a little bit. But you see, when I come in here, there's never any tension. We don't have any tension. And the times that we've had tension, the way that I deal with that is by ignoring the bad behavior. So these guys are paying very close attention to the bad behavior, and they're trying these things, like putting something in between the two of them. They're creating the tension. They're creating the problem. They're creating a very bad environment and a very bad situation, because eventually one of the monkeys is going to kill the other one, or one of the monkeys is going to hurt one of the people in the situation. Then what happens after that? They'll get rid of those monkeys, and then those monkeys never will have the same connection with another person ever again. They usually go to a facility. I've seen this happen 1,000 times. That's why we're doing this video. And it's a longer video, and I know I'm rambling on, but I think it's important for everybody to know, like, not everybody can run out and get a monkey. But again, like I said, I'm not the type of person to tell you not to. All it takes is, it's very simple. Find somebody that does this. Go around, work with these animals, spend some time with these animals, figure out how they are, spend some years working with them before you make the decision to go and get them, or start at the lower end of the spectrum with a different kind of exotic animal, one that's a little bit less dangerous, one that's a little bit less involved. With these guys, there's such a calculated thought process. And do you see what's going on right now, Brian?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You just got a golden shower.
I gotta drive 2 hours with piss down the crack of my ass now. But it's fine. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. You gotta remain calm, even when there's piss draining down your back. You could have went anywhere for that, by the way. This is a very large enclosure, but I appreciate the fact that you wanted to hang out with me while you did that piss. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, let me try and shorten this up, because we'll do more episodes on this as far as the etiquette and the proper ways to deal with homies like this. Because like this guy right here, there's certain things that you can't get away with. Like if I get real close to him, or if I tried to snag him up, or if he has something that she wants and I tried to take it from him, I'm starting the fight. I'm starting the friction. I'm the one starting the confrontation. Instead of ignoring that behavior, I'm now reinforcing it. And then to sit there and tie them to baby chairs with this much lead where they can't go anywhere, so they're constantly pulling, trying to get away, and eventually they will submit and they will sit down. And that is one way to do it. Not the way that I would do it, but it's one way to get them to chill out and sit down. But what they did was, this guy Michael, I'm assuming that it's Michael Podgy that said this, because this would be a Michael Podgy move. He said that the female needs to learn that the male's in charge, so what you got to do is you got to feed the male in front of the female and let her watch him eat while she doesn't get any food. Stupid. The thought process behind that is out there. It's way out there. Like, you can't do that. Like, it is or it isn't. Not every single monkey is going to get along with every other monkey. There are many situations where, like, if I tried to put other monkeys in here with them, they could get along or they could kill each other. Plain and simple. Like, it's plain and simple. This is wildlife. This isn't what we want. So now you want two monkeys to act the way that you want. You basically want them to be your kids. So you want them to sit in chairs with their clothes. It's very cute, it's very cuddly and whatnot, but it's very dangerous, because you're exploring and doing things that, number one, you've never done before, and you're applying all these things from reading this and reading that. And this guy told me this guy told me that. Rather than seeing how these animals behave over years of time, or getting somebody with some proper experience to get in there and show you what needs to be done, and then not allowing the outside enclosure for them to grow up in. Like, I'll raise them in the house, but then they need to live outside. These animals live outside. They benefit from the sunlight. They're not our kids. I can't dress them up and keep them inside 24/7. It's not fair for them. It's not fair for her, him, me. It's not fair for the house. It's not fair for the situation altogether. So eventually you have to push these guys outdoors so that they can live the life that they're supposed to live, and you can insert yourself into that troop. But basically what they're doing is making sure that there's always a constant tension. And I heard them mention a couple of times that they were uncomfortable and that they felt like maybe he would do this, maybe they would do that. Well, if I come in here and I'm uncomfortable and I feel like he's gonna bite or she's gonna bite, chances are somebody's getting f***ed up. They can feel that shit. And I don't care what anybody says, they can 100% feel the tension. They know when something's up. So if I came in here, or if Brian starts getting angry and starts yelling at me, they're gonna yell right back, because they already know the deal, because we're starting a fire and they're gonna put that fire out. So basically, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is like, it is totally okay to do what I do, but you gotta do it on the animal's terms. This isn't, we take some animals and make it what we want. It's, we get some animals and we allow ourselves to live within the animal group, within the troop, within the whatever you wanna call it. For the monkeys, it's the troop. If you got dogs, it's a pack. If you got wolves, it's a pack. If you got cats, it's a bunch of cats.
Clouder.
Huh?
A clouder.
A clouder?
Yeah, a bunch of cats is a clouder.
Are you sure on that?
I'm positive.
A gaggle, a murderer. I don't give a shit. What did you say it was?
A clouder?
We're gonna call it a clouder. I'm gonna call it a bunch of cats. If it's a clouder, comment and let us know what it is. But regardless, you're basically allowing yourself to live within that clouder. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm gonna trust Brian on this one. You're allowing yourself to live within that troop of monkeys. We're not forcing these monkeys to do what they don't do. It's like I explained on the episode. If you haven't seen it, go to the Wild Florida where I'm training the crocodiles. If you haven't seen that shit before, go to that, because I explained very simply that if a crocodile can't jump 10 feet in the air, I can't train it to jump 10 feet in the air. I can only train an animal to do what it already does. So if Romeo, if I want to train him to do something, he has to be able to do that. So I'm not going to take these two monkeys and force them to live my lifestyle. It's impossible. You're fighting against the grain. I would be fighting myself every day, and I would be tormenting these guys if I literally wanted them to be like my kids. They're never going to be like my kids. Now they are my kids, but they're my monkey kids. So I got to treat them like monkey kids. I can't treat them like my normal kids. I'm asking for something that's not feasible. I'm asking for something that's not realistic. I'm asking for something that's not going to come to fruition, because this isn't a human child. This isn't a human child. They don't speak English. They're extremely intelligent. Now you're testing their intelligence, and on top of that, you're implementing all these things to try and get the benefit of what you want. So it's the same thing of body modification on the animals. If you have to rip out their teeth to own them, then you don't belong with an animal. If you have to rip out the claws to own them, you don't belong with that animal. If you have to modify the animal in any way, shape, or form, then you don't belong with that animal. And I'm not saying that to disrespect anybody out there. I'm just saying, if you're choosing to work with wildlife and you're choosing to have these guys in your life, then you have to take the step to the side, take your pride and ego out of it, and you have to realize that your animals come first, no matter what. And then no matter how much it makes your life different, and no matter how much you want what you want, you're not going to get what you want, but what you can get with these guys is absolutely phenomenal, as long as you give the same thing that you want in return, which is love and respect. Not forcing them to be something they're not. It's the same as your own kids. My kids are growing up, and I'm going to let them take whatever direction they want in life. If they want to do something with the animals, they could do something with the animals. If they don't, that's their choice. Same with these monkeys here, and I'm bringing this full circle. That's why I added my kids into this. But with these monkeys here, I'm going to get what I can get out of them, out of the love and the respect that I have for them, the time that I spend with these guys, the joy that they bring me. And we've gone through some shit together 100%. And yes, I've been tested, but it's knowing how to deal with that, knowing how to not be afraid of it, and to deal with the situations at hand. Not take things from these monkeys. You can't reprimand them, you can't discipline them, you can't hit them, you can't do any of that stuff. You got to do everything with positive reinforcement and just pure love and respect. And with that, you can have an awesome relationship. That's why Romeo never gets off my shoulder. That's why she's so good to me, is because of the love and respect that we both have for each other. You big fat girl, you yes. Okay, I bothered you with your stick. But to sum this all up, ladies and gentlemen, always do your research. Always know what you're getting yourself into, and don't ask too much of your animals, ladies and gentlemen. They are wild animals at the end of the day. This is a monkey. This is a macaque monkey. It's a very mischievous, dangerous animal, and you have to treat it as such. And at the end of the day, I can't turn him into what I want for my own personal feelings. I can only deal with him on his level. Right, big guy? Right? We just do monkey stuff together. And that's how we roll it out. Are you gonna get angry at Brian now? Alright, tell him boom. Tell him boom boom. So I can show love to my monkeys and stuff, and I don't have to do weird shit to get it. No. Alright, so in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta be careful who you get your information from. Please be careful with your animals. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying that you should do the prior work to be able to make sure that your animals are always safe. And your animal should always come before you. Period, end of story. Anybody that doesn't disagree, put that shit in the comments. Let's talk about it. Debate. Boom.